Hi there. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Melena Landrio, and today is April the 10th, 2024. Earlier this morning, I received a download of some information about gatekeeping, or a gatekeeper in particular. And as I sat with this information, I realized that even though I was reminiscing over the experience that I had with being gate kept, because somebody has done this to me in my life. Many people have actually. And when you experience this type of situation, you don't forget it. So, I'm deciphering all the layers and levels of what I have experienced to come to a formulation to help shed some light on it for you, because I'm understanding that there is a gatekeeper that needs to be addressed in a reading. And I'm understanding this is a three-part reading, a three-part series, and that it could be of benefit for somebody out there. So, gatekeeping essentially is a formulation that enters into one's existence from a place of pain. Essentially, this is extended out in a belief that by not disclosing information, it keeps it exclusive to the gatekeeper. Now, this can be you having a business and not wanting to share your information. That's not really toxic to other people because that's your information. And when you're ready to disclose it, then that's different. But the gatekeeping that I'm speaking of is one that is of a dangerous place. It's one that was formulated from pain, and it was not looked at or understood on any of the layers and levels of one's being. So spiritually, what happened in that place of in that existence of pain, what happened spiritually, what happened emotionally, what happened mentally, what happened physically to that person was not looked at. And thus they turned away from themselves. And this is where it becomes dangerous, because the place of pain is extended out in a belief that not by disclosing the information, it keeps it contained in the person, in their vessel, meaning they have a controlling type of experience with it, which, if they're not looking at something that has caused immense trauma or pain in their life because they are trying to keep something closed up, something contained, something controlled by their way of experience, then this is why it's dangerous. It leads to interference in one's emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical well being. And when somebody is acting out from this type of gatekeeping experience, especially when they're in a position of power, such as maybe like a doctor or a teacher, they could be crucially interfering with one's emotional interception, or intercepting one's emotional capabilities. And this is where people question themselves over a gatekeeper's actions. So, if say you're feeling upset about some traumatic event that happened to you, and the gatekeeper's like, well, that's not really emotional, that's more a spiritual remnants and it should subside later on. It's like just disregarding one's experience and placing another's experience on it is essentially what I'm speaking about today. Mentally questioning ideas, thoughts, perceptions past as invalid over a gatekeeper's advice. Physically, it could be finding yourself enslaved in an experience, watching it from an external perspective and not really correlating it as something physically that's going on with you. This could also be a form of it. As well as spiritually, nothing is making sense, yet you continue to rise to the advice. So although it's not making sense to you, but you trust this person, therefore you're going to listen to what they're saying because they come highly sought out after, highly they're highly available to aid you in whatever it is that you're needing. And this is what I'm understanding the gatekeeper we're speaking of today is. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick shuffle. I'm just going to place these here for the next round here. You see these cards okay? Okay, so we have the Eight of Pentacles and the King of Cups. So what I'm getting here is with the Eight of Pentacles, this is essentially placed dedication is what I'm receiving here. Practice, refinement, where it's become skillful, meaningful work. So somebody has tried, tested, and perfected a mode of skill leading to meaningful work. And this is the gatekeeper's positioning. So this is the first reading for this series. There's going to be 3. And this is where they are seated. So there's skillful work, meaningful work. Through repetition and commitment to ongoing connection, improvement in this craft. Okay? So somebody is dedicated to this craft, whatever it is that they're working on. And then we have a King of Cups that is influencing this experience. And this is somebody who presents as compassionate. They have a calmness about them and empathy towards a circumstance. I'm hearing towards a circumstance. So they show a lot of compassion, empathy, and calmness towards a circumstance, which is leading them towards an ultimate goal, is what I'm understanding, which was experienced as enigmatic, but felt in undertones of moodiness and reservation. So they're smiling and they're giving this experience to somebody as a gatekeeper. They're performing in a position that they are trusted in. They exude compassion, calmness, and empathy towards a circumstance, whatever it is that is their craft towards this circumstance. But they have this experience of enigmatic within them where they appear to be smiling and what's the word I'm looking for? Present in the experience, like the transaction in the experience between their client and themselves. However, undertones of moodiness and the reservation is within them. So there's something within them that's kind of underneath the presented experience. So this is what I'm getting for the Eight of Pentacles. And then we have the Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles. So the Six of Pentacles. See, can you see that? So what I'm getting with this one, this is usually an exchange. Like I get the sense this is about an exchange. So there's a generosity displayed with the Eight of Pentacles and the King of Cups. There's a generosity, there's an experience that is displayed. And with the Six of Pentacles, I'm getting a fairness of this generosity. So like it appears to be not necessarily of equal value, but there's like this appearance of fairness. But that doesn't necessarily mean equal. So perhaps an exterior disposition of support or like a reciprocation of sorts. But I'm getting this feeling like this, there's this energy in the pit of my being. So maybe you're experiencing this and maybe you have this feeling in the center of your being, like in your solar plexus area. Perhaps you feel things deeply, but you're maybe second guessing this feeling that you're experiencing. So there's this experiencing that there's like something underlining their behavior. There's a calculating experience or like a manipulative performance perhaps that has occurred that is creating this confusion. Like I said, this is about a gatekeeper who's gatekeeping. If it's somebody in toxic display, they will gaslight, they will manipulate a circumstance to make you believe the opposite of what you're experiencing, and whatever they're telling you is the truth will be believed by you, especially if you're sorting out this professional. If that resonates, that's what I'm getting from the Six of Pentacles here. And then we have the Ten of Wands. So the Ten of Wands, let me just see if I can hold that. There we go. Is a card of responsibility, burdens, culmination. It usually depicts somebody that has perhaps been weighed down by obligations or has taken on too much. So in this instance, what I feel is occurring, and what I can relate to from my own personal experience, is if you're somebody who's has always gone through a heavy load of experience, that you seem to be able to handle a lot more than most people because of what you've been dealt in your life and what you've had to learn, then this might be relating to you, in the sense that you may have gone to somebody for some help in alleviating this experience of burden, this experience of being overwhelmed, or having like immense responsibilities, and just trying to delegate through them so you can handle your life in a more calm experience. And perhaps maybe you've gone to somebody for some assistance in alleviating some of the pressure or some of the experience on whichever layer that you were being effective. Perhaps you went to see a psychologist for mental distress, or maybe you're emotionally overwhelmed and you went to see a healer, or maybe you had to go see a doctor because something physical is you're experiencing. So whatever the case, you went to see a professional and you expressed that you were going through this, and it wasn't met with the same experience of enthusiasm or passion or drive to get to the result of what you were hoping to achieve. And so within you, you had this internal experience that was kind of showing you, your intuition was showing you that there's something wrong here. But because it was a professional, and because they come highly sought out after, or what you perceive as a professional, whatever place that where it fits, you dismiss your experience and allowed their representation of your experience to encompass what was to come. And whatever it was that they placed upon you in this instance may have alleviated a little bit of stress. However, if you would have been listened to the level and degree that you were expressing, and the solution was actually found, you would have had a lot more help, a lot more release. And this is what I'm being told by the Ten of Wands. So there was some interference here in the form of a gatekeeper. And the next card is the Death card. Now this card is telling me, the position of this card is the influence. This is how these past events have influenced the present situation. So right now you understand that something was not right. You're sitting in that space. So you have come to the understanding that they didn't listen to you. You were not properly taken care of. And now you're feeling perhaps victimized. Perhaps you're feeling for lack of a better word, I got to keep it at victimized because I can't think of another word at this present moment. But I feel like that really accurately depicts what went down. So death is here. And this is what's present right now in the situation. And it's death of this experience. So it's the transformation from the understanding of the past events that are now that have accumulated here. Burden, responsibility, culmination. Something wasn't as it should have been, and this has influenced your present moment greatly, and you're connecting the dots. You're putting two and two together, and the death card is saying that you're transformed. You've transformed. You've transitioned, and from the death, which was what they were offering you, into a rebirth. Okay, but this is also the death to this particular individual in regards to whatever they're offering up as service to help people is not helping people. They're gatekeeping. They're causing a situation for their own personal needs, gratifications, envy, jealousy, whatever it is that's underlining their reasoning to offer what they're offering and to perfect it in the way that would make others want their service as well. But when you are going in and you're experiencing the opposite of that, and I understand that many are, perhaps this is one particular gatekeeper, and many people go to this person, and it's coming into light right now, or maybe this is multiple people who act. Maybe this is just a message to all the gatekeepers out there in professional titles that are not acting in the value that they should be. So this is death, and this is clearing, and this is saying it's coming to an ending. This is what those past events, recent past events, I hear, have contributed to the present situation for this gatekeeper and for whomever they have affected. The relationship is now null and void. There's been a tear, a sever, and there's no turning back from it. They've gone too far. And that's the Ace of Cups. So this is breeding forth an emotional awakening, a surge of emotions that have been deepening on many layers and levels from this experience. So this has happened to multiple people. I know this type of experience has happened to me, and it was really life-changing, and I can't even put words to how disturbing and disgusting the situation at hand became for myself and my family. But it is very invasive, and it is very lonely. So when you get to this point where you're standing in your truth and you're standing in your perspective and you're facing what has been, and you're calling this gatekeeper out on their wrongdoings, this is saying that there's a lot of people that are having a similar experience to you, that are awakening with emotions of their experienced feelings that they've had in the past, that intuition that they may not have listened to. They're all of a sudden reminded of this experience, and it's sitting in them like a sore. They may not consciously connect to it at this present time if it was something that occurred a while back, but it is coming. The deepening depth, the depth of this emotional or mental or physical experience that was placed upon them because of somebody's gatekeeping has awoken within them, and it is gnawing at the inside of them, trying to get out. And this card here is telling me that it is coming out, that they're getting a heightened inner peace from this experience coming up and out, that they're going to get inquisitive with it. They're going to connect with it, with their intuition. They're going to allow this intuition to guide them where it's taken, where it was taken from, what has happened, what has occurred, what is this? And it is going to lead them to healing and new connections and a new, perhaps spiritual practice or newfound joy, because maybe that experience with the gatekeeper made them feel like there was something mentally wrong with them, or emotionally wrong with them, or spiritually wrong with them. So when that happens, and then all of a sudden you have this epiphany that it wasn't you, it was this facilitator, it was this doctor, it was this whatever the case may be, this is what's happening here. Is the Ace of Cups is saying that blessings are on their way. This is a deep soul wound. It's like what you put out there. People don't understand this concept, but when you go out and you are kind with people, your kindness spreads beyond those people. So when we go out and we act kind, our kindness spreads worldwide. But when you go out and you act in malice, you have ill intent, and you're hurting people in that process, that is what you're spreading worldwide. Except Creator is not wanting that right now. God is not wanting that. God is bringing forth the illumination of this. And I won't be surprised if I see an illuminating type card coming up in the next round of cards expressing the outcome. So this is kind of giving hope to those who were victimized, those who were bamboozled into a circumstance. Perhaps people were placed in a position where they had to help this person gatekeep, and they feel badly about it. Or maybe people were gate kept and maybe something happened where they believed something that was not accurate, and they realized now they were wrong. These are the types of things that are coming to the surface, and this is what is illuminating the person who is the gatekeeper. And I'm told to shuffle these, yes? Once more. Yes. Ace of Wands, the magician here, as I split the deck. So something illuminating. And here we have the Page of Cups. So this is the Page of Cups, and the Page of Cups is essentially, when I think of the Page of Cups, I think of starting new beginnings. It's starting, new beginnings with imagination, with creativity. There's an innocence to this card. There's an inquisitiveness. There's this embarking a new journey kind of experience. This card, this kind of tells me that this, because of the location, this is the present position or attitude. That this gatekeeper has tried to inflict upon others. And this is like to me, this is their well-being, their livelihood. This is starting a fresh new perspective. Maybe somebody went to see someone for some support, and because they didn't get that support, they couldn't cultivate or grow in the places that they wanted to grow into. And this is also kind of giving the vibes of like somebody that's playing like a god type position. So this is kind of where this card is sitting with me, the Page of Cups. And here we have the Seven of Wands. So the Seven of Wands coming right after the card, the Page of Cups, which is someone's livelihood, somebody's ability to grow on this earth into something that they can cultivate, has been interrupted. And the Seven of Wands is somebody's ability to pull from their deep well of inspiration, courage, conviction, advocacy to protect others from their circumstances. So they're speaking out, which is not a popular point of view. And I definitely know that story very well because I myself have done that recently. And it was a big gossip trail from that point on, I'm certain, in that community of people. But here we are. This is what's coming to light, is someone has taken the courage in protecting through advocacy what was theirs and what has happened and what doesn't feel right. And I think more and more people are starting to do this. And this is an environmental factor. So this is the influence on others. This is the influence that has occurred right now, that has happened. This spark, this realization, this death to this circumstance, illuminating this Eight of Pentacles behavior, potentially with the King of Cups. And then the blessings to bestow all the inner turmoil that has been to come up to the surface so that people can get a grip and understand what has occurred fully. And this is what is occurring right now. And this is right here, the courage and the advocacy that is showing protection for others by protecting oneself and standing up for themselves. So that's here in the environment. And then we have a King of Swords. And the King of Swords is essentially authority. It's taking and understanding your authority in a situation and understanding the logic, the ethics behind it, and illuminating it up with your intelligence in your truth. Logically speaking, what has occurred? What happened before you went into that experience? What happened from that experience? And what has essentially cultivated from that experience? And this is what the King of Swords is stating. And this is also inner emotions. It's understanding that there is a logic and a truth to it. And this is the underlining experience of the emotions right now. The King of Swords is one that is fair, intelligent, they're pragmatic, they're very honest, they're decisive, they have a perception of authoritative, and they're conscientious. There's principles behind them. So this is somebody who's standing up, who is of this stature, and they're speaking up and out about this gatekeeper. This is the environmental influence at this time. And then we have a Knight of Cups. So the Knight of Cups as the final result, which is like a culmination of all of the cards on the board, which have influenced this reveal. And this is giving me that there's a subtle charm in the air of this idea, of this expression that has occurred within, I'm hearing, multiple people. And it's a trickle effect from one brave soul to the next brave soul to the next brave soul. So somebody's standing up in their own truth, in their own logic, in their own experience and understanding of what has happened, and navigating within their experience and expressing it outwardly into the world. And what's happening is it's forecasting dreams, and it's kind of uprooting these deep emotions that are radiating compassion from within. And they're seeking deeper understanding in love and in relation. And so, you know, if you think about this perspective as being a gatekeeper and going out and you're placing out misfortune on others deliberately, then what you're putting out there is sowing that, right? If you put out kindness, you're going to get kindness. You're going to receive kindness. It's going to unfold at some point back to you. So this ripple effect is occurring for the people that have been victimized by this gatekeeper. And there's an emotional surge right now of many degrees and layers. It's not just the victims. Everybody that I'm understanding here is potentially a victim of sorts. However, some were manipulated into playing a part in the gatekeeping experience by dismissing victims. Now, this is also an occurrence that's happening right now, and they're having emotional experiences that are coming back because of what they've sowed. So there's multiple layers and levels of what people have placed out in a circumstance that encompasses the term gatekeeping by a specific gatekeeper, is what I'm understanding. And that's why this is going to be a multiple series of videos. This first video that I've just placed out being called the gatekeeper. So this is the story of the gatekeeper. So if you liked this video, if it resonated with you, I hope that it helped you in some way, shape, or form. I hope it illuminated a spark within you of passion to dive deeper into yourself, to trust your intuition, and, be inquisitive of the experiences that are occurring within you or are in your surroundings, so you can gain deeper understanding and appreciation for not just the life around you, but your life, because you, of course, matter. And there are people out there who are inflicting unfortunate pain and suffering onto people, and it seems like they're doing it knowingly with an agenda, and it's now coming to the forefront. So if this is you that has been affected by this, I offer you many blessings, that you find your healed way forward. And if you like this video, please share, comment, subscribe. Always a pleasure. Until next time, take care.